I know history, or do I? True stories, mostly. Thermopylae, 480 BC, the stand of the 300. Act 1, The Gathering Storm. In the 5th century before Christ, one empire dwarfed all others. From the Indus to the Aegean, the Persian Empire was the largest the world had yet seen. Founded by Cyrus the Great, expanded by his heirs, it ruled perhaps half of all humankind. By 486 BC, its throne passed to a new king of kings, Xerxes, son of Darius. And Xerxes had inherited his father's unfinished war. It had begun a generation earlier in the Greek cities of Ionia under Persian rule. In 499 BC, they revolted, and Athens sent ships to help them burn the city of Sardis. Persia crushed the revolt, then turned west to punish Athens. In 490 BC, at Marathon, the Athenians hurled the invaders back into the sea. Darius swore revenge. He died before he could take it. His son did not forget. For 4 years, Xerxes gathered an army from every corner of his empire. He bridged the Hellespont with boats and cut a canal clean through Mount Athos. Herodotus counted millions. Historians today estimate well over 150,000 fighting men. And a fleet of perhaps 8,000 ships. No force like it had ever marched on Greece. In the spring of 480 BC, it crossed into Europe. Greece was no nation, but a quarrel of rival city-states. Many surrendered, gave earth and water rather than face the king. But at Corinth, 31 cities swore an alliance, the Hellenic League. The Oracle at Delphi gave Sparta a grim choice. Either their city would fall, or a Spartan king must die. Act 2, The Sons of Sparta. To lead them on land, Greece looked to Sparta. Sparta was unlike any city in the Greek world. It was a state built for war alone. From age 7, every Spartan boy entered the agoge, a brutal schooling in endurance and arms. Its citizens farmed nothing. A vast enslaved people, the Helots fed the state, so that the Spartiates could give the world their whole lives to the spear. Their king was Leonidas of the Aegeid line, who traced his blood to Heracles himself. He was past 60, and he had read the oracle. If a king's death could save Sparta, he would be that king. He chose 300 Spartiates, each with a living son to carry on his name. Why so few against an empire? It was the season of the Carnea, a sacred festival, and the Olympic truce. Spartan law forbade the army to march. So Leonidas led an advance guard, his royal bodyguard, to hold the line until the rites were done. Few of them expected to return. Act 3, The Hot Gates. He chose his ground with care, a path called Thermopylae, the Hot Gates. Named for its sulfur springs where the mountain and sea pinched the road to a few paces wide. Here, the Persians' vast numbers would count for nothing. The Greeks rebuilt an ancient wall across the Middle Gate, and offshore, their fleet held the Straits of Artemisium, guarding the flank. Leonidas was not alone. Some 7,000 Greeks marched with him. Thespians, Thebans, Phaeacians, Arcadians, Corinthians, and more. Their weapon was the phalanx, a wall of overlapping shields and long spears. Man for man, the hoplite was the finest heavy infantry on earth, and now they would prove it in the Narrows. Act 4, come and take them. Xerxes arrived and waited 4 days, certain the Greeks would flee. His scouts found the Spartans combing their long hair calmly before battle. The exiled Spartan king Demaratus warned him these men would fight to the death. Xerxes demanded their arms. Leonidas answered, Molon Labe, come and take them. Told the arrows would blot out the sun, a Spartan smiled, then we will fight in the shade. On the 5th day, Xerxes attacked. He sent the Medes and the Scythians first, and they died in heaps. The pass was too narrow, the Greek spears longer, their armor heavier. The Spartans feigned retreat, then wheeled and butchered the pursuers. Wave upon wave broke upon the bronze. On the 2nd day, Xerxes sent his finest. The immortals, 10,000 elite of the empire. They fared no better. The line did not break. Xerxes, it was said, left from his throne 3 times in dread for his army. The hot gates held. Then a local man came to the Persian camp seeking reward. His name was Ephaltes. He knew a hidden mountain track, the Thermopylae path, that circled behind the pass. That night, the commander Herodotus led the immortals along it. The 1,000 Phaeacians set to guard the path were swept aside in the dark. By dawn, the Greeks were surrounded. Act 5, the last stand. Leonidas called a council. Most of the allies he sent home to fight another day. But the 300 Spartans would not abandon their post. 700 Thespians chose to stay and die beside them. The Thebans also remained. This was the day the oracle had foretold. At first light, Leonidas led them out into the open to sell their lives dear. They drove the enemy into the sea. 2 of Xerxes' own brothers fell. When their spears shattered, they fought with swords. When the swords broke, with hands and teeth. Leonidas fell. 4 times the Greeks drove the Persians back over his body. At the last, on a low hill, the survivors were buried beneath a storm of arrows. Thermopylae was lost, but it was not in vain. Weeks later at Salamis, and the next year at Plataea, Greece destroyed the invasion. The 300 had bought the time and the resolve to win. On the hill where they fell, a stone still keeps their word. Thanks for watching. I Know History, or do I? Please subscribe for future episodes.